Shalom, shalom, shalom. Alright, first and foremost, call Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh, Ba'ashem Rekal Kodash. Of course, double honors go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who through the Holy Spirit continue to teach us this truth. And of course, we hope that it wakes up the remaining, hopefully elect also, bringing us wisdom. Alright? So, and this is like one of the most obvious titles you will ever read. This is a race war evident long before the Capitol siege. Well, no BS. Alright? And this is from, let's see, Yahoo News, Yahoo.com. Associated Press also did an article. Alright? Broken glass from, wow. This says a war rages on in America, alright? And it didn't begin with Donald Trump or the assault on the Capitol. And that's correct. Alright? It started with slavery and never ended. And that's why we try to tell you idiots out there, alright? Somehow think that because they let you go to school and learn about them, not about you. Alright? Somehow you get a job, a good paying job, you manage to be able to live around white folk. Alright? Whatever. Doesn't mean they like you. All it means is they tolerate you. And like we always give out the scripture in Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Alright? Meaning it's always there, just waiting to manifest itself. But our people, being who they are, alright, it takes a whole, and people around the world from the outside looking in, they're like, my God, what has to happen to these people to finally get it? Stockholm Syndrome. The curses that are put on our people throughout the whole scriptures. Alright? But you can find a good majority of them in just one chapter in one book, which happens to be the second book of the law. It's Deuteronomy chapter 28. Alright, read the whole chapter. No one else fits that. You might have a couple of nations that fit 1, 2, maybe 3, whatever. But all of them, nah. That's why we have those signs out there, alright, per Ezekiel 37 chapter, where he's bringing northern and southern kingdoms of Israel back together again from that split, alright. That happened under King Solomon, and then after that, once he died, then the kingdom split, alright. So let's see. Let's get an example. Let's see. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:1. It says, and it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken. This is what would happen if we would have listened and obeyed. If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh, thy power. Alright? And that's another thing. These people, you go to their seminary schools and you just listen to Christianity. What they don't do, I find it strange. They do it with everything else. Your reading and your comprehension. Well, in this you have something called possessive pronouns. Mine, ours, hell is Christianity talking about? In this case, it's called replacement theology. And you can understand the trickery, the witchcraft, the outright lies that have been going on since these Edomites and so-called white people came back into power from the time of the Renaissance, when they defaced all the images that were not them. They purposely did this, and that's your Revelation 20th chapter, among others. Alright? This little season that he's had. Continuing on, it says, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy power. But, skipping down to 15, it says, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. What's the first one? Curse thou shalt be in the city, and curse shalt thou be in the field, no matter where you go. Those curses are going to follow you. There's no getting away. Curse shall be thy basket and thy store, which we know that to be a good example of that. I don't know if anybody knows the rules 72 and all these things when it comes to money, where your money is supposed to circulate in your own community for a number of times before it goes out. Ours, we don't even register, but everybody else does. That's a curse. You're not going to prosper, in other words. Alright. Let's go on down, because these things also will help identify who is who. This is verse 37. Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Most High Yahweh shall lead thee. Coon, porch monkey, jigaboo, nigger, coon, tar baby, prairie nigger, all those things. Wetback, beaner, Eskimo, whether you know it or not, that is a derogatory term. Alright, these things will be an identifier that wherever we go, alright, we're going to be in the hands of our oppressors. We will have no power. Let's skip down to 45. Moreover, well, 44. He shall lend to thee. Actually, 43. Salah. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. Everybody's come to this country and enjoy the fruits thereof, except us. Now say I'm lying and back it up. Everybody. We don't own the stores that are in our community. Remember I told you about rules as it pertains to money and economics of nations, things of that, communities and that sort. No, these people live out, in my case I'm here in DC, people live out in Virginia and elsewhere and come in here, alright, have their stores. Make the money, take it out of the community, take it back there. And you people know, don't play stupid, you know what I'm talking about. We're under these curses, no one else. That's a curse. To be continually lied to, oh, you can make it, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, all that bullshit. mainly because every time we have tried, every time we have accomplished things, after the so-called Emancipation Proclamation, we know that's a bunch of horse shit. They play word games with you. A lot of people don't realize emancipate. You better look up the synonyms to words. It doesn't mean free. We were transferred. And you have to also understand that during that time, Britain and the South were in cahoots. They didn't teach you that in history. Alright? The South was making buku money off of us. Alright? So that whole thing there was a police action. Because you got the banksters. Alright? And that whole thing, Lincoln fell out of favor with them and they peeled his wig back. Alright? Alright, so let's get back to the article. But yeah, this has been going on, and they always try to, you get into the Daughters of the Confederacy, that organization, because they tried to, in the early 1900s, being involved with school curriculum, especially me growing up in the South and Mid-South, alright, they tried to make themselves look like the victim, as usual, alright, and have people have sympathy for the South. Just as what happened here at the nation's Capitol building on the 6th of January. People are gonna feel sorry for the motherfuckers, alright? But this is our enemy here. He's in power, he's gonna, but these are people that were traitors. There's no other way to look at it, if you want to be honest with yourself. They always try to play that game, the Civil War was not about slavery. Well, when you read the secession papers, it tells you it was. Continuing on, it says today's battles in the race war are waged by legions of white people, or Edomites, in the thrall of stereotypes, lies, and conspiracy theories that don't just exist for recluses on some dark corner of the internet. People like the murderer who fatally shot 9 black parishioners at a church in South Carolina, telling detectives that black people are taking over. Taking over what? We're taking over the country and raping white women, a popular accusation amongst these pieces of shit. And a lot of our people died as a result. Alright, and you've seen in the last few years these women that were caught, they were being recorded, these quote-unquote Karens, alright, calling the police, pretending that this big black man is threatening me, things of that nature. But this has been going on, people knew that it was going on. It says, and the shooter who killed 23 and wounded 23 others at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, targeting Mexicans, authorities say, because he believed that they were invading the country to vote for Democrats. Which is another whole video, because who was here before you? Nasty pieces of Euro trash. Keeping on, and the riotous mob, rife with white supremacists, that bought in when Trump and others insisted falsely that the presidential election was stolen, which I just talked about. For a very long time, civil rights leaders, historians, and experts on extremism say many white Americans and elected leaders have failed to acknowledge that this war of white aggression was real, and they know this. You've got these maggot farmers out here, they got whole camps running around in the woods, military drills, walking down the middle of the street with they just stand there with their arms crossed, no law enforcement. But let one of us and it's so obvious and it's in your face, that's why I don't feel sorry for, Jakes. When they get caught up, you should know better. This is not the way we're going to win. Esau's blessing is a sword and his descendants. Alright? We're not going to beat him like that. What we're doing now is telling the truth, bringing out the truth. More and more of his offenses, alright, his crimes are coming out. And it's exposing this devil for what and who he truly is. It's going into right here. Alright, because truly the people were under a spell. This is under a spell. This is Isaiah chapter 25, verse 7. And it says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Alright? And this, everybody was that American swagger. Alright? Now people can't stand, you hear that America again. That's why they're trying to get away from the American dollar, which was the world currency. The petrodollar. Alright? That's the real reason behind this so-called pandemic. Alright, this gaslighting. That's all it is. You know, focus over here while I do what I gotta do over here. Like I always say, follow the money. Anything having to do with the money, look that way. Alright, it says racist notions about people of color, immigrants, and politicians have been given mainstream media platforms or represented in statues and symbols of slaveholders and segregationists. The result, a critical mass of white people fears that multiculturalism, progressive politics, and the equitable distribution of power spell their obsolescence. And that's true. You know what? One book in the Bible, Obadiah. Erasure and subjugation. And that fear, often exploited by those in power, has proven again and again to be among the most lethal threats to non-white Americans, according to racial justice advocates. Because in times of economic downturns in the history of this country, they've always come for us. Alright, the ones who can't defend themselves. Which highlights even more about this devil being the coward that he is. Alright. White aggression, let's see. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Of course, I posted a link to this. I'm not going to get any justice from this devil. It says a cry for racial justice. This is, of course, a so-called preacher. A cry for racial justice some 400 years in the making moves us. He said, a cry that can't be any more desperate or any more clear. And now a rise of political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism that we must confront and we will defeat. Blah, 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 whatever. Alright? These are the ones that, you know, you're not telling our people the truth when you get up there in your pulpits. Alright? You're reinforcing that, what? The very self, what he just said, white supremacy. Alright? You were set up to do just that. To keep us in check. It's a control mechanism, just like any other. Alright? The most segregated day of the week is Sunday. Always has been. It says the January 6th Capitol riot occurred the same day that Georgia declared the winners of its runoff elections. Democrats Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, alright, they won in Georgia. Let's see. Here you go, talking about Kamala Harris. Something else they're unaware of. Alright? it says this kind of mob violence in reaction to black, brown, and white people coming together, bad idea, always has been, and voting to move the nation forward in progressive ways. See, you still want to continually be a part of this bullshit, and it's falling. Alright? This place is going to be wiped off the map. And it's these idiots, alright? Jeremiah 23. Let me get that real quick. Oh, man. Let me see how much time I got. Oh, wow. This is Jeremiah 23:1 says, Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Most High Yahweh. How do you do that? By not telling them who they are. You're not telling them the truth. You're telling them to trust in this devil, the one that's been raped, robbing, and murdering you for centuries. Just give him a chance. There's no hope for him once you understand who and what he is. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, the power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Most High Yahweh. Alright, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries, whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And that's what's happening. Alright, because what? Amos 9, 11, and 12 is happening, alright? The temple is being built. The temple is not a physical building. It's us. Alright? It's us. But you're going to go to your enemy's schools and think you're going to learn about the truth. Scriptures never say go to, especially your enemy. This is the thing that blows me. Just go to your mortal enemy, the one who's trying to kill you, get rid of you, and learn about your power. Your power only. It makes no sense. You should be in a straitjacket on that. Wow. But in any case, I'm going to have to wrap this up. Anti-Defamation League. I mean, when you understand the history behind all this, you just look at people for what they really are. Fuel for the fire that's coming. Because there's a difference between nations when you actually do not know something and it's not your fault because it's just not there for you to know. And then there's ignorance, which, especially in today's world, you have to put willful in front of that because you have these little devices like my phone here. They're little computers. Alright? Just type in a topic, a subject, and you'll find out what it's about. But no. Our people want to what? Who won the Grammys this year? Shit like that. Things that not for your salvation. Whoa, and I say whoa, but you are going to rue the day, or rue means bitterly regret, and a lot sooner than you expect. Alright? That decision you made to just fan your hand when you walk by a camp or see us on any of your social media outlets here. Alright? You will regret it. Because this devil, if you're not paying attention, this pandemic, these vaccinations, all this is designed to get rid of you and I. eugenics. Alright, so I'll post, of course, the link to this article in the description box. And, we're out here, we're constantly trying to remind our people, wake the hell up, because, man, it's Revelation 12 and 12. So, 2nd Ezra chapters 15 and 16. Alright? Ooh-wee. You people have no idea how bad it's going to get out here. Because they're already having difficulty with our people getting this, or willing to get it, I should put it that way, because they can't hide the fact that people are dropping dead. Alright? See, they tried to rush this through using fear mongering, and it's sad, but it's still working on some people. Alright? Again, willful ignorance. So with that, hey, I hope whoever views this is edified, because we're trying to wake up the remaining hopefully elect, alright, because this thing, hey, Yahweh Shah is coming back. Once he gets the word from the Most High Yahweh, boy, oh boy, oh boy, So with that, call the law Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Yahweh Dash, and of course, once again, double honors.